Fendi, I get plenty. Wake up right next to the semi. Low so loaded than the done. Habits to the nine.
This is the 2018 Range Rover Evoque. Had the car for about a week because I had to rent a car since someone crashed into my BMW. And honestly, I didn't really like it. So I decided to make this video. So I'm gonna take you on a list of the 10 things I really hate about this car. So due to the fact that it's freezing outside, I'm gonna start with the exterior things I don't like about the car, and then we'll move to the interior. All right, so for number 10, we have the rear of this car. I don't know about you, I love how the bigger Range Rover Sports look, and I like how this car looks from the front. So as you can see, the front looks pretty good, but then as you come to the back, it seems like they kind of just took the bigger Range Rover and sort of just shrunk it in the back. So I don't know, in my opinion, the rear, it just looks weird. Like if you look at it from a distance, it looks like it should just continue on, and then they kind of just cut it short to compete in the mid-size SUV class. So if you look at it from pretty far away, you can see it looks a little weird. Alright, so coming in at number 9, we have the wheels. Now these wheels, honestly, these look like wheels you'd find on a Toyota. Like, these do not look like Range Rover wheels. And as you can see, they do have the logo on them, but the logo is weird. It's the same color as the wheel itself. So you can barely even see it when you get even a little far away. Coming in at number 8, we have the fact that this car is slow. It's a 4,000-pound SUV, yet it only has a 2-liter turbo engine that makes 237 horsepower. So that means for merging on the highway, maybe racing your friends. 3, 2, 1. You're gonna lose. I'm telling you, merging on the highway is tough. You have to make sure you have a lot of space, or else you're not even gonna be able to accelerate in time. I mean, the 9-speed tries to do what it can to make the car feel quicker, but it's just not. It's just, and in just complete honesty, it's too small of an engine for a car that's this big. So those of you new to the channel will know that I really don't do videos like this. So if I sound awkward on camera or if I just stutter a little bit, I apologize. It's my first time making an actual edited video where I'm talking, so bear with me. Thanks. All right, so for number 7, we move to the interior, and that would be these paddle shifters. These paddle shifters are absolutely horrible. They're plastic and they feel so cheaply made. Literally, if you just push on it, you could see the plastic actually bend. That's not even me clicking it, that's just it bending with me barely pushing on it. And a lot of car makers recently have just been slapping these onto any model car that they produce just because they think it'll look sportier. But meanwhile, when you're using the cheapest plastic for these paddles, it just gives it a like phony feel. Honestly, I think they should have not went with the paddle shifters at all, because you don't really use it. You have a dial. Most of the time you're just keeping it in drive. So honestly, the paddle shifters are just like a cheeky add-on that just makes the quality of the car just not as good. And up at number 6, we have the bolsters on the steering wheel. I figured I'd keep it on the steering wheel for 7 and 6. And if you look at these bolsters, there's literally no difference than the rest of the wheel. So if you actually look, the thickness at the 10 and 2 where the bolsters should be is just the same thickness as all the way around the wheel. So that's something I really don't like about the wheel. So up at number 5, we have the media and the radio. So the navigation is fine and whatnot, but the media and the FM radio setup is terrible. So basically, if you connect your phone to Bluetooth, there's you can see the volume up here. If it'll show me, you can see that it goes to 20. It goes all the way up to 38. When you connect it to your phone really won't be loud unless you're on about 30, and then that's when it's pretty loud. But still, these speakers are not very good, so they don't get very loud on the Bluetooth or aux cord for some reason. Yet whenever maybe you disconnect your phone or take a call, it switches over to the FM radio, and the volume for the FM radio and then for like the Bluetooth and the aux is not aligned. Like for some reason the FM radio is way louder. So literally, even when you turn off the car, so let's say you go inside your house at night and then in the morning you come back out and you don't have Bluetooth turned on your phone anymore. Basically, when you turn on the car, it's going to go to FM radio and keep it at the loud volume you had it so that you could hear your phone, and you're going to get blasted by some loud music right when you wake up. Like, that's just terrible. Like, I don't know why they would set it up like that. A lot of other brands, they'll stay in like the USB, or they'll stay in the Bluetooth section and just wait for a phone to connect instead of switching back over to FM radio. But for some reason this car just switches back to FM, and it's really annoying. So that's for number 5. All right, so for number 4, we're going to come to the climate section over here, and I want you to look at something that's missing. This is a $50,000 car, okay? It's a $50,000 Range Rover. It does not come with heated seats. No heated seats, no cooled seats. I'm sure it's an option, but for a car that starts at $50,000 and to not have heated seats, like $30,000 Volkswagens come with heated seats, and some of them even have cooled seats now. So the fact that this is a Range Rover, it's $50,000 and it doesn't have them, I don't know. All right, so for number 3, we have just how boring this interior is. I mean, if you look at it, everything is just the same color. There's no like wood trim, there's no different color trim or anything. Literally the only difference in the trim is this part is a gray that's flat and this part is a gray that's textured. And that's the only difference in the entire interior. I don't know, a lot of like BMWs, Volkswagens, they'll have maybe some wood trim or just a different colored trim or like some aluminum trim or anything like that on the interior. And this is just black everything, black and gray. I don't know, I just find that super boring. I don't know if I would enjoy having this car every day. So that's for number 3. All right, so up at number 2, we have the transmission. Now this transmission is so laggy. And when I say that, I mean, if you're trying to merge onto the highway, the amount of time you have to wait for this trans to downshift. Okay, ready? So we're at 30 right now. And imagine I'm merging on the highway. I'm gonna floor it, ready? Now it's floored. Doesn't even shift all the way down. And now we're at 55. So that took a good 5. Imagine what kind of on-ramp is gonna be that long on the highway. Like, a lot of these on-ramps now, you don't have a lot of space and you pretty much gotta floor it. And when it accelerates this slow and takes that long to downshift, I don't know. Now with that being said, the 9-speed does get really good gas mileage just because it can keep a really low RPM. But at the same time, you're kind of giving up a little bit of a safety factor if you can't even merge onto the highway in less than 10 seconds. Like, they got to do something about making it just a little bit quicker. Just because it's such a big car, having a small engine, like a small little 4-cylinder, is just, it doesn't feel like it's cutting it. I get that they're doing it to try to offer a less expensive Range Rover that everyone can buy, but still, when you're at the price point of 50 grand and your car accelerates slower than a Camry, it's just not working out. So that's for number 2. All right, so for number 1, we have the god-awful automatic start-stop that this car has. Now, I'm not saying that the technology itself is awful. The start-stop feature is actually really smart in a lot of cars because when you stop, it'll just shut off the engine quick to save some gas. And I get that. That's a smart feature to have. But this car, whenever you start it, no matter if it's warm or cold, the RPMs hang a little high for about like 5-10 seconds. Like, no matter what, whenever you first start the car, it could be completely warmed up, but it'll still idle high a little bit. And with that being said, when the auto start-stop works, it's in drive. It's when you're driving, and that's when it shuts it off just to start it again once you continue driving, and it turns it back on when you take your foot off the brake. But with the high idle issue, when you take your foot off the brake and it goes to start the car again, it jerks the whole car forward. Like, it literally, I don't know why it does this, because it's in drive and it tries to idle high. So every single time you take your foot off the brake and the auto start stop like functions and does its thing and turns the car back on, it jerks the car forward. And I have never seen this in any other car brand. I've seen it on BMW, on Toyota, on anything like that. I've had multiple cars that I've driven that have had the automatic start stop, and they never had an issue like that. They would all just ease into drive, and every time it would turn back on, it would just ease forward a little bit. And for some reason, this car just jerks forward every single time the auto start stop works. That's just super annoying. And this car literally only has 700 miles on it, and it's already having issues like that. Like, I don't understand how someone could pay 50 grand for this car and then be like, oh no, it's totally fine that it has a huge problem like that, that every time the start-stop works, that is a big advertised thing to save gas mileage. Every time I use it, my car jerks forward every time I try to start going again. Like, I could not understand how people would put up with that. I'm glad this is a rental. I'm glad I'm taking it back. I really don't like it. So there's my top 10. That was number 1. Hope you guys liked it. If you guys want to support the channel, please subscribe and like this video. Share with your friends, whatever you want to do. And in my opinion, don't ever buy one of these. They're terrible. They're just about hype. They're just about the name. It's just another one of those brands that are making a cheaper alternative that everyone could buy, and they're just cutting a bunch of corners. I mean, there's just a bunch of things in this car that are just so annoying that they didn't even bother like really trying to think about or making it really unique or anything like that. They just tried to make a bland Range Rover that was cheap that anyone could afford, and I don't like it. So honestly, this car is a no for me. Don't like it, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. So thanks for watching.